Welcome back, everyone. This week I'm going to be sharing some projects that I'm working on, a few works in progress, and a family recipe. And I'm also going to be sharing this beautiful fall color that we've been experiencing in Ohio. So let's get started. So one of the projects that I'm working on this week is a fabric braided wreath. And the reason I'm making this is because when I was in elementary school a few years ago, we had this art teacher, Mrs. K, and this was in the early to mid 70s. And she was very much into what they call now boho. Back then it was a little more prairie style, hippie style, the long flowing skirts and the blousey tops. And she was into natural dyeing and, all of those kinds of things, things that a lot of us are interested in now. But anyway, we had a craft show, an after school craft show, and the teachers and some other vendors were there, and it was to raise money for the school, I think. But she made this beautiful fabric braided wreath, and my mom and I went to the show, and my mom loved it, and she bought it. And it was red calico and blue calico and yellow calico braided together, and it had a big red calico bow, and it was probably about 18 inches, I would say. It was pretty big. So every year we hung that on our door at Christmas. And then when I moved out and got married, my mom gave it to me and I hung it on my door at Christmas. And eventually, over the years, use, weather, etc., it started to fall apart and wear out, and we had to get rid of it, which was sad because my mom and I both loved that wreath. So the other day I was thinking about it and I thought, why don't I make one? Why don't I make a replacement? So I started going down the path of I'm going to make one as close to it as I can. I'm going to try to find fabric, I'm trying to find the calico and make it as close to what it was. And then I thought, no, let's just look through the stash and see what we've got. So I knew I would have to cut strips to make each individual piece for the braid. And I started looking through my stash and I forgot that I had this beautiful Liberty fabric that my daughter's friend sent to me as a gift last year. And believe it or not, it's already cut in strips, so I don't have to do that part. I was so excited. So yeah, so these are the three colors that I've chosen for the wreath, and they're not Christmas colors. The original one that we had wasn't Christmas colors, but it was just so pretty. We didn't care. So here are the three colors. There's this. This is all Liberty of London. It's like a greenish blue paisley, and then there's a floral, and it has a little bit of that kind of tealy dark green in it. And then this one has more of the burgundies and white. There's a little bit of white, and then still that green is carrying through. So that's kind of what I was looking for. So these will be the three colors together. So I'm going to sew these strips and I'm going to stuff them. I'm going to braid them and make them into a wreath. Now, I still need fabric for the bow, and I haven't quite decided how I'm going to do that yet. But I did find a tutorial on Pinterest that walks you through the steps for the wreath and the bow. So I just need to figure out the fabric for the bow. So I'm going to work on that this week. And yeah, I'll let you know how it turns out. This cotton fabric is approximately 8 inches wide by about 52 inches long. So it should be the perfect size for this wreath. This cookbook belonged to my mom, and she gave it to me a few years ago. As you can see, it is well worn, well loved, well used. There are quite a few family recipes in here that we still continue to enjoy. The one I'm making today is called barbecue beef in the cookbook, but we actually call it sloppy Joe. Uh, so I'm going to put this together, and this is a family favorite. It's been a family favorite since I was a little girl, and continues to be a favorite of ours. I'm going to be making the sloppy Joe in this little 2-quart crock pot that my mom recently gave me. It's just the perfect size for my husband and I. And here I have gathered all of the ingredients: some tomato sauce, onion powder, garlic powder, vinegar, Worcestershire sauce, and some ketchup, and also just a little bit of sugar. This recipe does call for ground beef, but I like to use ground turkey instead. It's a little leaner and a little healthier for us. I'll include the recipe in the show notes below. If you do try this recipe, I'd love to know what you think of it. I've had this lovely yarn in my stash for a couple of years. This comes from Cary of the My Wool Mitten podcast. I will link to all of her information below. This colorway is called Dunbonnet, and this is yarn from her sheep. This is a 3-ply worsted spun Morit Bond Corriedale, about 240 to 250 yards per skein. It's a beautiful chocolate brown color. It has a very soft feel. I believe this yarn is a sport weight yarn, and Cary, if you're watching, hi Cary, you can correct me on that. It's somewhere between a fingering and a sport, I believe. But I have started a new project with these. I cast on the European style mittens. This is a pattern by BB Knits. She is on Etsy. I have not been able to find her on Ravelry, so I will link to her shop. And I have just gotten started on these mittens, and I will update you on my progress. We are well into fall here in Ohio, but my flowers are still going strong. I've decided to come out and just pick a few of these blooms, my zinnias and my sunflowers that I've grown from seed in pots this year, and they have done so well. I just wanted to bring some of this color into the house. It's always fun to do a little thrift shopping during the week. They had plenty of Halloween and fall decorations, of course. It's that time of year. And I'm always looking for something that I can use around the house or in my kitchen. And this week, I even saw a couple of crocheted blankets. I brought home just a few things from the thrift store, this cute little ceramic snowman, some garden flags that I can hang outside, and this cute little Winnie the Pooh print that I'll hang in our spare bedroom for my granddaughter. In my last video, I gave you the wrong name for this project that I was working on. This is the Firebird Scarf, and I will link to this in the description below. I am holding two strands of yarn together, one from Gypsy Soul Fibers and the other from Dactyl yarns. And I have not made a lot of progress on this because I've been working on a few other things. I'm using US size 6 circular needles on this, and hopefully next time I'll have a little more to show you.